channel. Um, Tonight, I will be building, what's it called again? Um, God, my memory is so jacked up. Coil storage. It's called a coil storage. Do not ask me to explain. I did not name it. That's what they named it on the drawing. Coil storage. So tonight I'll be building a coil storage. I'm going to start with the footings, the legs, the pillars, the columns, whatever you want to call it. We have 22 columns with 22 base plates. So I'm going to try to weld all the base plates to the columns tonight. Um, our weld symbol is a bevel joint with a 3/16 bead, and it has to get ground flat. I almost said grinded. Ground flat. So I think I honestly do not feel like beveling for 3/16. So what I might do, I might just run it vertical to get penetration and then grind it flat afterwards. Yeah. Yep. So I'm here for a few hours as usual, and let's see how much I can do, how far I can get. What's this? Okay. Just checking something out there quickly. Let's see. Um, okay. I see I have two viewers though. That's good because the last time I was on, I had zero. So I thought something was wrong with YouTube. But two will do. Whoa, 13, one like. All right, well, I may as well get to work instead of standing in front of the camera. All right, guys, thanks for signing in. Thanks for coming through. As usual, feel free to comment. Feel free to like. Feel free to ask any question, and I'll do my best to answer them as soon as possible. Since I'll be away from the screen doing my thing, I am going to use my other phone like a moderator, so I could at least answer questions. Yeah. Let me just try to get that stream anytime now. Hold on, wait a minute. All right, there we are. Okay. All right. As I said earlier, I'm working on a coil storage tonight. I have 22 base plates. I have to weld to 22 legs. It's a very big build. Um, I had it on a previous live a few minutes ago. I had the picture up, but then I logged off and logged back in. So let me start. I'll be here for like 2 to 3 hours, hopefully, if I can last that long. And yeah, we'll do as much as we can do. I'm not sure if I can do all 22 tonight, but I'll do my best to do so. I need a, no, I need a translator for the. Damn. All right, Keiki. I think you're probably saying hello. So hi, hi. I can understand the language or the writing. I'll have to get a translator to translate it. All right, let me pin a comment. Coil storage build. Yeah. Pin this message. It's very hot tonight. Summer. Zhang. How do you pronounce your name? Zhang Sir? That sounds like a Chinese name. Zhang Sir. What's up? How you doing? All right. We have your table. Yes. All right. So let me get to it. Normally I would turn on the gimbal. Yo, Mike, what's up? How you doing? If that's the second time here, welcome back to the channel where I show behind the scenes of welding and fabrication, the ugly side of it. My bad, it's locked. All right. All right, it's free now. Okay. So you get pinned, I guess. Why his prints are so small, yo. Maiva, music, Mafania. Good morning to you also. Although it's night here, it's 8 o'clock in the night here, 8 p.m. So good morning, good night. How you doing? These are the base plates that go on to this there. Let's just check. Number one, 04, 04, 10. 4210. Let's just check the part number. Yep, correct too. All right. Um, a black money for job. A black money for job, holy moly. Yeah, this black man, that's not all he has, not just a job. Um, I think maybe you don't look in the right place or the best places to see it every day. Maybe you want to see it every day. I don't know. I'm not from here. I'm not from America. I'm from the Caribbean, so I'm not sure how it works here. Rafinia, I'm from St. Lucia, from the Caribbean. Maybe that's why I'm waking up to now. It's like, I think what, 8? Well, 8 to 8 is 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening is already 12 hours. So I've already worked for 12 hours today. And I'm about to go 2 more hours, so that'll be 14 hours. So I guess that's not what most black men do. I don't know. I'm not black though. My apron is black. I'm brown. Never that simple, huh? Fucking have to mark that. I was hoping. I was hoping that basically would just fit on that thing simply, but I have to mark it out. Center it also. All right, let's do some marking out. 7 inches, 4 inches. So the center would be 3.5. That's 4. So inch and a half and inch and a half. In that case, I don't really need to mark both sides. I can just mark two sides like an L. That's 3, that's 4, so half inches, half inch, half inch again. There we have it. All right. Next thing, yeah, tell him White Double O Crow. You see that every day. Alexa is magic. Ah, okay, another welder too. Very nice. I'm a welder. My voice. Mafenia. Mafenia says, I'm a welder, stainless steel welding, stainless steel welding worker and workshop my town. All right, nice. What type of Mafenia? What type of welding do you do with stainless steel? Man, I'm not even sure how to use this. Incident square you. Guess I'll have to shim it. Alright, that's weird. Huh. Goes that way. Yeah. That's why I have to get better. So 3. And that means that's supposed to be 2. Yo, it's so hot here. It ain't even funny. I think there's a fan behind me. Probably fell. So it vibrates a lot, which sucks. If I turn it on right now, that'll be too much noise. Alright, there we are. I think I need to build a jig. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tack that one up, and then I'm gonna build a jig, so I don't have to go ahead and keep marking all these base plates. I'll just drop it in the jig in the fixture, and then tack it, then take it off and weld it. That'll be much faster. Afenia, which what process do you use? TIG, stick, or MIG? All right, guys, watch your eyes. Brown. It's a bit cold. 23 volts. Look, I want 25 volts. All right. Ah. All right. I need to build a quick fixture for this, so I don't spend too much time setting up. I can just drop these pieces in and start them. Let's see. Let's go down. I'll be back. Trying to find some scrap metal to build this jig, but uh, let's see. All right, so I got a few pieces of scrap metal. Just gonna build a quick jig to make setting up easier. All right. All right. that. Slide a bit. Second piece. Yep. Perfect. Drop this one here. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. That's that. And then there's one more stopper. A small piece. Small piece of metal. Ah, perfect. That will do just fine. Alright, so I'm gonna use this. Right here. Alright, and that's the fixture. Let's test it. Boom. Oh, perfect. Let's check our measurements. 2 inches. 2 inches. Good, nice. Looks like we're gonna get this done tonight. And that is the benefit of building fixtures. No need to continue marking up everything and wrestling to line up all your lines and all that kind of stuff. Beach one off dash. Man. Hi, what's up? How you doing? These names are difficult to pronounce. Hope you all know. If I butcher your name, it's not my fault. Put in the fixture, grab a plate, put in your fixture, line up your fixture, take your torch for your gun, and tack. And that's it. Do it again. Mm-hmm. All right, 4 down. So I was gonna weld it vertical up. So I get penetration without having to bevel it. Let's see how that works. I don't like how that works. All right, so I'll have to bear with it before I weld it on. Need, this. What I'll do. Right here. Boom. Yep. Nice. Who wants to see it? All right, so I'm gonna try to tap all 22 first. Check it out, check it out. Woohoo! Yeah, baby. Yo, that's so slippery, dude. Ah, fucking hell. All right. I mean, not bad. Yeah, my gimbal has face recognition, face tracking. So I always have to keep the stuff in front of my face for you to see it. I put to the side, then you don't see it. Yeah, but that's what we want. That's what we're going for. We have to do 22 of these. Right, so I am just going to set this on a pallet. We'll get the forklift. So how do you pronounce your name? Kevin? I know Kevin Kong. Sounds like Asian name. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna grab it from here. Fixing our fixture. We fall off the table. Just like that. Turn your lights. Boom, done. So that's stacked. For now, that's what we're gonna do. Just let me see. Do you like MIG or ACK better? Um, I honestly don't really have a preference in the process. I know the advantages in different scenarios. The last time I was out in the field, I used stick welding up on a scaffold to do some rectification. There was strong wind blowing, stuff like that. So I know stick would be the best thing for that. So I used it. In the shop, right? I'll use MIG or flux core, depending. If the project needs structural strength, we'd use dual shielded flux core for that. If it's like a reeling, we'd use MIG for that. I know, when it comes to speed and efficiency, MIG is the most efficient one, right? You can weld much faster, you can weld for much longer, and you have less wastage. If you dial in your machine real well, your parameters, you will barely get any sparks or spatter, which means all your wire will go into the work. If you weld 10 pounds if you have a 10-pound roll of MIG wire, more than likely 95% of it would actually go into the job. Whereas if you have 10 pounds of flux core, some of it is flux core, right? And some of it is wire, filler metal. And after you run a bead, you have to chip out the flux core. That takes more time. Then you have the flux core wastage. So you probably lose, I would probably say, maybe 10% of a roll, a 10-pound roll of flux core would be wastage because of the flux core. Yeah. So I don't really have a preference. It's circumstantial to me. It depends on what I'm doing. It depends on what the blueprint says, what they're calling for on the blueprints and whatnot. So yeah, that's how I operate. They have certain things I must, because that's what they're asking for, TIG welding, right? Especially if it's aluminum, they want some nice crisp beads. Then I use TIG welding. If the customer doesn't really mind a shabby kind of weld, then I use MIG welding for aluminum, right? So I don't really have a personal preference. I do all types. I do all processes, right? MIG, TIG, stick, flux core, everything. Plasma cutting, oxyfuel cutting. You know, recently I went into CNC cutting, CNC plasma cutting. So that's something I'm learning. I cannot say I'm a master at it, but I mean I can run the table fairly well enough. You know. God, man, it's so hot here. I love I love building fixtures when I'm working. So instead of marking out a plate and then wasting time to center the parts on the mark, I mark out one, build a fixture, and just keep using it. It makes it much faster. Much faster, much easier for me. Drop the tube, drop your plate, and we're good to go in position. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me clearly. I hope so. I had a mic, but I misplaced the Bluetooth part of it, so that sucks. All right, hold on. Let me read your questions so I can answer. Let me just get these things on the table. What made you decide to come out of the closet? I think your mom could ask me about it, so I had to tell her my secrets. She just told you to ask your mom. She's actually still in the closet. Aaron Rollins. Yeah, man. Have a drink for me, dude. It's Thursday. It's still Thursday here. So I don't know, maybe it's Friday wherever you are. Yeah, I can use a drink right about now. Make sure that's square. Live from Washington, D.C. Yeah, man, good vibes. Good vibes, dude. It's Friday for you, but it ain't Friday for me, yeah. Looks like I'm gonna get this done tonight. Oh, got my pitch done. Oh, wait a minute. 7, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. All right. So I'm missing 6 more plates. Oh, I'll get them. 6 more plates. I gone call up to the sky. It's not someone to try. Three more to go. Three more to go. Oh man, I cannot read this language. I'd have to use a translator to respond to whatever you said. If it's a greeting, greetings, welcome. Welcome to the Welding Flow channel, where I show behind the scenes of welding. I'm building a coil storage, and these are the legs. This build will be 353 inches long. It's about 20 feet. It has a lot of parts, like maybe about 60 pieces. Pieces missing, meaning, sorry, different pieces. Like each of these tubes are one piece, and there are 22 of them. The base plate, one piece, 22 also. So that would be 44 pieces in all, just for two different pieces. That many more to go. Different things, different designs, different pieces. All right. Need some ice. I think I might as well switch to my air purifier so that I can protect my lungs also. I'll be back shortly. Going for some of my gears. welding stuff. It's a air purifier. Protect my lungs from all the dust and fumes. Alright, how much battery do I have? Two, not bad. Let's see. Cesar Rangeli, Brazil. Big up Caesar. How's Brazil doing this time of year? Thanks for checking in. I appreciate the support. Nice to drop your location. I think that would be something nice if when people come in, they drop the location so I know, at least I know where they're coming from. I think that would be nice. All right. Yep. Need some more air. All right, I'm going in. Every time. Should have put in my range, bro. Yeah. Put that lens. Mm-hmm. Welcome, Mason, fellow welder. They have go forward. That team up and around, man. Yeah. Oh yeah, trying to protect, trying to protect my lungs also. Most times we breathe in all the smoke and all the dust from the grinding abrasive wheels. So trying to keep my lungs protected because you know once your lungs go, it's about it. There's no fixing it. And I've been welding for a while now, 20 plus years, since when I was 8. So yeah, um, it was rapid. Hold on, wait a minute. I need to figure out where you start. Anyway. using a free phase Miller. Hold on, I'll tell you. Well, that's all it says. There's one right here. Yeah, not a fan of Miller. I rather Lincoln. My personal preference would be Lincoln. But I mean, Miller's good. For real, you work for Lincoln Electric. Years ago, that's where I did a lot of my research when I was still in the Caribbean. On the website, you have that section, that resource section. So I would go there almost every night and do a lot of reading on the website. R&D. What is the R&D? I'm not sure. Okay. I have a back on the island. I have a 225 Ranger and I have a 120C MIG welder. I mean, Lincoln was always my first choice for some reason. I don't know. Maybe because it was red, right? I think my first between Miller and Lincoln, I think my first experience was a Miller TIG welding stainless steel. I was about 15 at the time, 15 or 17. And then after that, it has been Lincoln after that until I came up here in 2021. And I mean, I'm exposed to everything right now. How about Miller, Lincoln, all the different Chinese brands, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but Lincoln and Miller, I mean, I can't complain about either of them. They're very durable, very powerful. Neither has ever failed me. So they're both 100% equipment, if I had to rate them. In compliance now. All right, cool. Hey, Michael, the $1 million question: can you weld? I think that's what most people want to know when guys are around welding stuff, equipment, and they want to know, can you weld? What Lincoln do you use? Flex Tex? Nah, man. I have a thing, Ranger 22, 220, 220, 225 amp Ranger. That's the mobile welder, and a 180C MIG welder. And I actually got the spool gun for it also. Yeah, well, I was just fucking around, man. Of course, naturally so. Naturally so. I think when I was younger, I actually wanted to be a welding engineer. But I guess on my island, it's a bit difficult to become that. You have to actually travel to do that. So I just build a welding business instead. And I just stuck to fabricating and welding. I mean, I enjoy it. It's not work to me. You say stick is the easiest. Uh, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say. All the processes are different. I don't really have a preference. All of them to me circumstantial, use them in different circumstances. Um, I would not say one is more difficult to learn than the other. Stick is the most economical one for sure. The equipment, the consumables. You can use it in conditions you cannot use MIG or TIG, right? But I wouldn't say it's the easiest. It's just different. You have a bit more control, right? TIG you have the most control. MIG semi-automatic, so sometimes you have to keep up with the deposition and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, when I was learning how to weld, I did a lot of reading and research, so I understand how it works really well. I think that's why it's not that difficult for me to like go through the different processes, learn new processes. You burn the wire, doing MIG now. What do you mean when you say you burn the wire? Well, 6010, my experience with 6010 is just for a root pass. So like when I was getting my certification with stick welding, 6010 was only used for the root pass, cutting the keyhole and filling it up. I never really used 6010 for anything else. And I mean, at first, if you don't really understand what to do, it's difficult. But when you understand that you cut the keyhole and then you fill it back up. When you have the right settings, you have the right rod angle, right travel speed, right arc gap, all that kind of stuff. It becomes quite easy. Once you can maintain the right parameters, it becomes kind of easy. And eventually, after practicing, it becomes second nature also. Ah, okay, you have your nozzle too close. Yeah, well, I mean, eventually, if you do it often enough, eventually it becomes second nature. You can do it with your left and your right hand, both hands. You can actually look away, then look back at the well pool. You can focus on different parts of the well pool, all that kind of stuff. Normally, when I well for long periods, I get bored, so I try different well patterns, different weaves, and all that kind of stuff. Just because I'm bored. Nah, man, zero complaints. Zero complaints with Lincoln. Lincoln is my go-to choice for sure. I've been using them for years, over a decade. I've pushed all of them to the max for sure, right? When I stick weld, like sometimes on projects I stick weld 4 millimeter rods, and I normally hold a bunch of rods in my left hand, and I have my generator on auto idle, where when you stop it drops the idle. Yeah, that motherfucker never drops the idle because as soon as I'm done with one rod, I toss it, I reload it, and I just continue welding. So my welder is revving the whole time until, and I have no issues with it up to this day. I think I bought that machine in 2018. 2018. I came up here in 2021, and I had been welding with it like at least every week, different projects around the island every week. So it's a good machine. It's very durable. The MIG welder also. I had the MIG welder in 2011, 2012, and it's like it's still brand new up to now. It still works exactly how it was when it was new. I bought other machines like these Chinese machines, and they work well. but they were not as durable, that's for sure. And I really push my tools because I try to get the work done as quickly as possible, so I push my tools to the max, and they stood the test for sure. So that's a review on Lincoln and the machines. I mean, they are pricey, they are pricey, but I can say they're worth the price. I can say they're worth it. If you're going to plug into the auxiliary of the machine, well, no, not now. But when I worked on site back home, yeah, I'd plug my chop saw to the machine. I would plug my drills. I plug my drill press. I plug the grinder to the machine also. What consumables do you use? You'll have to be specific. What type of welding you talking about? Because here we use solid wire here and dual shielded wire. But I don't think the brand is Lincoln though. The brand is Hobart, however you want to pronounce it. We have used Lincoln brands here before, but that was like maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, right now they're running Hobart wire. Let me see. Fab 4 on it, yeah. You're running the Fab 4 on it. That's the Hobart wire. Hello, good night. Question for someone who is now starting and what will be your best advice? All right, nice question. But you really do look a lot like LeBron. Has anyone ever to do that? Nah, you're the first. Someone the last time said I look like Damien. I look like Will Smith. Nah, they look like me. I don't look like them. They look like me. All right, if you're starting off welding, I would advise you to read. I'd advise you to read, study metals. If you're gonna specialize, so like in my case, I don't specialize. I do everything, all metals, everything, right? But if you're gonna specialize, let's say you're gonna specialize in steel structure, then you'd have to study the metals in steel structure, right? Study the characteristics of the metals. Basically study metallurgy, how they react to welding. Study welding processes. Like before you actually go to weld, do some reading and familiarize yourself, right? Um, Study the tools, study safety for sure. Safety. One of the first things you have to study is safety because before you start welding, you have to check your tools, make sure everything's alright, make sure you have no broken wires, all that kind of stuff. Even if we don't do it sometimes, but that's the kind of things you need to learn first before you actually weld, right? Study troubleshooting, study safety in a sense that if you get arc eyes or flash, how to take care of yourself because that happens. If you get burns, how to treat it. You're going to familiarize yourself with a lot of information first because when you go into it now, you have something to draw a reference from, right? And then after you probably figured out like in what field you want to weld, um, then you go towards that. So if, for example, you'd want to work only with aluminum, then you'd have to decide what process, what industry. You choose TIG welding, MIG welding, depends on the process or the industry, whatever they use. And that's what you'd focus on, right? As much as all TIG welding kind of the same, all MIG welding kind of the same, they're a little different for different types of material, especially ferrous and non-ferrous materials. So I'd study first. That's what I did actually. I studied first. I read a lot first. Then I think the second thing, if you're really, really, really serious and you're sure that's what you want to do, you would buy your own equipment. Buy a multi-process welder that has TIG and MIG, right? They have them online. And you could practice on your own, practice at home, right? Get a single phase. And while you're reading, while you're watching videos, you're practicing. I mean, most guys will just go to school, but let's say you don't want to go to school. You don't need to go to school because the information is right there, right? We have AI. You can ask the questions, chat GDB. You can do research, right? And then you'll practice, and you'd see how your welding process reacts, how your molten pool reacts, how whatever you're doing, rod angle, travel speed, the reaction, you compare to what outcome that you want, and then you'd fine tune to actually get that. You understand? And when you have it locked down like fairly well enough, then you could have enough confidence to go and try out for any job. Some jobs you have to be certified, and from my experience, your certification is a test. They will give you a coupon and have you weld it in whatever position that's needed for whatever project, or they just try you out. If it's like under uncertified conditions, they'll still try you out to see if you would weld. And if you pass their test, then you'll probably get the job. But most times, entry level would be, I think, like $18, 18, 22, that kind of thing. So that's how I'd start. I'd buy my own equipment. You could get welding machines for like $500, $800. I have one at home, a multi-process I bought for like $1,400. A bottle of argon, I think, is like $400 or some shit like that. And you can practice. And the more you practice, the faster you will learn. That means the sooner you can actually go and try out for a job and start making money, or you can actually start doing your own things at your home. You understand? So that's what I'd do. I mean, that's what I did, kind of, sorta. My dad was a welder fabricator. He had a welding shop, and I basically started welding at 8. But I watched a lot. I would always grab a shield and come see. Back in the days, there were no auto in shields, right? There were the shields with the handle. You have to hold a handle. So like majority of welders, at least all I knew back then, would hold the shield with one hand and weld with one hand. The two-hand welding was never a thing back in the days. And I'd watch a lot. How the guys welded, and that's how I learned. I learned a lot from watching, and then I read, and then I started welding. My first weld came out like I was already welding for, like I it's like my first weld came out like I knew what I was doing, because I already knew what to expect. I already knew how to maintain my arc gap. I already knew I should wait till I get the metal to fuse together and flow out. I already knew how to weave, how wide to weave, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what I'd advise. I'm not sure if you're still here, but yeah. So research, understand what's going on, buy your own machine and practice at home. Research while you're practicing, watch videos. I mean, you will not find everything on YouTube, because I mean, gradually guys are creating more and more videos. I plan to create some videos myself, and yeah, just practice. You should be all right. I never went to welding school. Every single welding test I ever did up here, I got certified right away. I never did a test twice. The most I ever did in a classroom was at college. Um, I did like 2 semesters of welding, and basically I did both semesters in like a week or two. I took the whole syllabus and I just did the whole thing. I did the final test and I never went to class again afterwards. Just I went to college at 28, so I was already a professional welder by then, right? Fabricator, welder, all of that. Um, and after that, when I did a 3 month stick welding certification course with a school from Trinidad. I think MIC, and that's the only time I actually. That's the only time like I can say that's the only time somebody directly taught me about welding. I can remember my instructor telling me to pack the weaves while I'm doing the vertical welding, like keep it tight, right? And I think that's the only time somebody ever told me what to do in person when it comes to welding. Everything else I learned on my own. I learned from research. I learned from reading. Like I was telling Michael earlier, I spent a lot of time on the Lincoln website reading the resources just to get the information. Things like the Tomahawk plasma cutter. I always wanted that, but I could never afford it. I can afford it now, but you know. Um, so yeah, that's how you just have to spend time in it. You have to be dedicated and just spend time in it. If that's what you really want to do, and trust me, welders are needed up here for sure. In the US, everywhere need welders, everywhere. So I think that's one way somebody's guaranteed to have an income if they become a welder. So if you're dedicated, I mean, you invest the time, invest in your equipment, and if you want to learn fabrication, same thing. You're going to read up on it. You're going to buy your squares, buy your tape, buy your levels. You'll start building stuff, right? You can go online and look for different blueprints. There are guys who sell blueprint packets where you can build different things: table, chairs, shelves, racks, whatever. And you can practice with those things, right? You can practice reading your tape, finding the angles. You can get your magnets, you can get your angle braces, all that kind of stuff, and you can just build your own things, and then that gives you things to practice on. You understand? So, like you really have to invest in yourself first and foremost. And if you can do that, then you can go to any job site and ask. And that's what I did. I literally just go to a shop and say, hey, I'm a welder. I'm looking for employment. I want X amount of dollars an hour. Right now, obviously, if you say you want X amount of dollars an hour, they want to know if you're worth it. So they're gonna say, okay, come, let's try you out, right? And they try you out, and if you can put on some nice bids that qualify, then you just might get what you're asking for. Check. Ah, that's too small, yo. Where am I out of phone? What time is it? Oh, 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. All right. Don't think I would be a great welder, which is why. Oh yeah, Michael. Oh yeah. Welding. Welding is not for everybody. But as we know, welding has so many different other like categories of what you can be. Welding inspector, all that kind of stuff, right? It's just that like I am so used to being active, I cannot be in a role where I'm not active. I get bored. I fall asleep. Right? I was a lecturer for like 3 semesters because I'm also auto body technician, right? And I taught it in a college for 3 semesters, and I quit because I couldn't just be there just talking, demonstrating and talking and waiting. I'll just fall asleep. So I have to be active. My teaching instructor left and went to SpaceX for well inspection. Yeah, I feel like after years of real welding, you will get really good at it. Well, some guys, some guys, some guys weld for years and they weld the exact same way. They do the same bullshit. They do the same fuckery, right? They weld like they don't really care. I think it depends on your level of work ethics, your level of pride. Because I always say, your bead is your signature. Because no two beads are the same, right? It's even more difficult for you to do the exact same two beads yourself. So they have some guys. If you watch the bead, you know, okay, that's that guy's welding, right? And some guys have poor work ethic, so they don't put the all into it. They just weld it, however, whatever. But then if you have real good work ethics, then you know you really try to weld it the way it's supposed to be, nice and even. You know, no undercuts, all of that kind of stuff. Nice consistent bead, right? I like when I run a bead, the flux peels off on its own, or if I touch it, it just falls off. Then I know for sure that's a good bead. But if I have to chip it off, then I know I know most likely, nah. Yeah, because welding is a lot about muscle memory, confidence too. I realize like if you're not confident, then you don't well because you're unsure. But if you're confident and you start welding and you realize it's not working out, you can actually make adjustments. I'll give you a typical example, right? You are a welding engineer, so you'd probably know that. When you're welding, you're supposed to have a particular stick out so that you could run at a certain amperage of voltage, right? If you go closer, the amperage of voltage increases. If you pull back and you have extended stick out, it decreases, right? Because of resistance. So there are times when you're welding, especially if you're welding thin material, and you realize you might burn through. Especially, okay, let's say you have a gap and it's a little wide, right? You start welding at the recommended distance, but then you see it's actually burning through. You can cheat. You can extend your stick out, right? And then the weld literally gets a little colder, and then you can actually fill it up. You can fill it up, then go down to flow it out, then step back out again. So like all of these things are things I learned from experience, from seeing what is happening. Especially I used to weld on thin metal a lot, like in the auto body repair industry. So I had to learn all those things. All right, let's see. Do you use any pre-weld settings like hot start? Nah. I honestly don't. I don't really care about all of that fancy things. I mean, I see it. I see the machines have it, but I never really focused on it. It doesn't matter to me. Because when I learned how to weld, we never had none of that. We had an old transformer welder, and you start with it. So if I am TIG welding, yeah, I might look for pre-flow and post-flow and all that kind of stuff. It depends on what I'm TIG welding, right? But most times, MIG and stick, I don't know. I don't really care. I know MIG welding is always a cold start, so they have different techniques to help with that. So I use that. I know stick welding too. You don't really start where you want to start. You start maybe a few millimeters or 1/8 or quarter inch somewhere else, and then you get to where you want to start and then run the bead just to warm up the area. So I know those things. So I don't need any kind of fancy hot start or all that kind of stuff. I guess the hot start will actually solve that problem, right? I don't care about it that much. All right, will you grab the camera for a Lamar Jackson edit? Well, Austin, I know you're talking about there. I have no idea who Lama Austin is, unfortunately. Um, Michael, always wonder if PEOL or if people use it. I mean, again, from experience, some rods claim to have that kind of hot start feature, right? Just some rods, when you buy them, they claim, I guess whatever composition that's in the flux, it helps with starting and like striking the arc easily. My welder at home has hot start. I cannot say I cannot say I ever worry about it. I bought a battery operated welder. It has a hot start also, but I do not do that much stick welding. That's the thing. More MIG welding, flux core welding, some TIG welding. I only do MIG stick welding out in the field, and I do not go out in the field anymore. So yeah. Hi, I'm Romina from Argentina. Hey Romina, how you doing? I'm fine. I'm good. At work as usual, doing the night shift. It's 10:28. I gotta try to roll out soon. FYI, Lamar Jackson is an NFL quarterback. Okay. Sorry, what did this guy ask? Will you grab the camera for a Lamar Jackson edit? I still have no idea what he means by grabbing the camera for a Lamar Jackson edit. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't watch television, right? Most likely, I might leave here, let's say 11 p.m. or maybe midnight. and I might go home and maybe go and work on the design I'm working on, or maybe even my website. Then go to bed at maybe 1 or 2 o'clock, and then go to work at 8 o'clock. So I don't watch football. I don't watch none of that kind of stuff. Are you on 240 volts? No, I'm using free phase. Free phase. Yeah, all the welders there they run on free phase because of efficiency, for efficiency reasons. 220 volts is okay, but free phase is always better for sure. All right, let me boom, 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 boom. All right, let me try and get some stuff done here. Yo, Michael, I realize the voltage here is 240 volts, right? But in the Caribbean, on my island, free phase is 415 volts. So even when I want equipment, and most times they'll tell me the equipment is 380 volts. I have to let them know that I need 415. So then they have to actually rewire it for 415. So I guess different countries have different voltages for their free phase. But I know here it's 240. Sunway 45, probably going through half-inch material. Trying to see what you mean. Yeah, the free phaser is 240. Because the machines have a tolerance, right? I think 15 plus or minus volts, right? But then from what I understand, the machines will still work, but they would last they wouldn't last as long, right? Because I guess wear and tear, I don't know, fucking up the parts. I know. But I that's what I know. If they're not calibrated for the right voltage, they would work but they'd actually overheat, they'd run hotter, then the lifespan would be much shorter, especially motors and stuff like that. Uh, Alright, some will say, alright, so some will be so well done also. Nice. Do the cycle on my Miller is 215. It's not enough. YM, YM is a lady. Nice. I hated welding for a living. It's fun for a hobby though. Yeah, welding, welding is not. You see, that's the thing, right? That's the thing I laugh at a lot. When you go on Instagram and you look at different videos, right? Welding looks so nice and dynamic, and but the actual welding itself is not fun. right? And I keep telling people I'm not a welder because I cannot say it is something that I enjoy. Like eventually I get fed up with it. It's boring, it's repetitive. So if I have to, you see, if my job is just to weld, I'm gonna quit. But if I get to fabricate and assemble stuff like that, cut, punch holes, drill, yeah, I'll do that. But if I have to just weld all the time, I can only do it for a certain amount of time, a period of time. It's boring. I can't deal with it. At least one engine drives on what you're using. It's former transformer. Even grinding dust is the worst. Oh yeah, that's why for the grinding dust, that's why I got this. Because what would normally happen at the end of the day, my nostrils would be kicked with dust build up and soot build up from the welding. So I bought one of these. Oh, that question wasn't for me. That was for YM. Do you ever had from hold your workspace clean? What? GTC gaming. Do you ever had from hold your workspace clean? What's that for? Was that dirt? What the fuck? What's that for? Dirt on the wall? I know you're talking about. If you're referring to the wall, that's not dirt. That's the insulation that's falling off. And yeah, welding space is one of the things that you have to continuously clean it because you do it every day. You cut stuff, you grind stuff, you weld stuff. So yeah, it's a task you clean it every day, or at least every 2 days, or at least when it gets really, really dirty, you know. So we have both things there. We have a CNC table. We have two bandsaws, a smaller Bailey. You can probably see down there. Smaller Bailey bandsaw. I think that's a 7 by 11, I think. And then we have a big, I think 24 inch bandsaw over there. We have a CNC table just at the back here, 10 by 5 CNC table. And sometimes I use the trusty 7 inch cut-off wheels for minor stuff. Yeah. I like using the bandsaw. I like stacking multiple lengths of material on the bandsaw and cutting them at the same time. I find the bandsaw is very efficient and it's also very precise. If it's well maintained, oh yeah, it's super precise. No, it's not recorded. It's live. Yellow. No, I buy. I see no one in shop. Robin, you just, you just, you just pull up there. Uh, okay. How come they're waiting for the train to pass? Mm-hmm. What time is it now? Okay. I like when YouTube there, you know. Yeah. Alright, you manage? Okay. Alright. Alright. Minutes to 11. Alright, gotta go get a drink of water. I'll be back.
Oh,
Well, yep, my battery is dying. I think that's my cue to go home. Yeah, battery low. So I'm gonna call it a night. I'll be back tomorrow. Continue the build. You have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 more legs to go. Yeah, I'm gonna finish it tomorrow. Oh, no. What's that? That looks like a lane. It's coming out of the back. So today I saw one of these auto darkening lenses that I saw one of these auto darkening lenses you could actually recharge with a Type C charger, Type C USB. There's a Type C USB port. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having one of these. Can we see the finished welds? Oh, sure. Well, according to the blueprint, I had to grind them down on that side. Yeah, good orientation. Um, there's one I did not grind. Yep, dual shield with flux for. I have a little bit more to go. Ah, thank you. I mean, I didn't do anything that much. I just traveled with it. That's all. But I think my settings off a little bit because to me it wasn't flowing out the way I would actually want it to flow out. But I'll probably delete that tomorrow. Probably double check the settings tomorrow. I'm running 25 volts. I think I might need to change the wire speed, the feed rate. I'll check it out tomorrow. Something else, the blueprints. The blueprints were asking for 3/16 beads, 3/16 weld beads, and I'm running 0.45 wire. What I realized when I have to wait for it to fill up in the fitted weld, the beads tend to grow. So that's something else I have to check. But I guess it's alright. Better too big than too small. Alright, let me drop those things off in the car and I'll be back. finishing up. Out of courtesy, stack. Yeah, that's my gym. So I get to work out my muscles, carrying heavy pieces of metal. Ouch. The hell? All right, guys, I'm gonna head home now. Good camera. Oh yeah, man. That's shit. The sparks burnt all the screen. The red camera is much sweeter also. That's a Motorola. I paid for that like 100, 200 US dollars because of the camera. That's an amazing camera. The red camera, oh yeah, nice and crisp. All right, I'm gonna shoot a shot quickly before I go home. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. As I mentioned, I'm also auto body repair technician, so I fix cars during the day and I weld in the night. Um, we've already that's one of the bills. That's the decoiler. We paused on it because the company asked for two other bills. We've already delivered, I think, 5 of them. That's number 6. I'm looking at number 7. There's also number 8 and number 9. And yes, all that material, I cut all that material like a few weeks ago. We have some more material over there. The same legs I'm building, they go actually on that. So these I-beams, 300 pits. We still have to drill holes in them at different locations and stuff like that, fabricate different things with it. That's some of the legs also. It's trying to look like Kimbo, man. All right. Yeah, that's some of the legs for that same build. That is a separate build. We have some more materials at the back there. Some more materials at the back there. Yeah. So slowly but surely, the space is getting clear because we're building and we're shipping it out. There is a stationary ramp. I think we have 3 more of those to build. There's a left and a right side. Yeah, so we have 3 more of those to build. Let me turn that fan off. Did I turn the welder off? I don't think so. I didn't. I turn that welder off. Close my gas in case we have a leak. Doesn't go to waste. All faithful fan. Wow, you hear that? Peace. Peace and quiet. That's what I'm hearing right now. Peace and quiet. All right. That there's another build also. Why does my stuff feel okay? I guess. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Shit. I mean to shoot a shot, you know. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me go shoot a shot quickly. Quickly. Just connecting. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Greatly appreciated. I'll be back tomorrow around the same time, 8 p.m. Normally when I leave the body shop I go home to get some rest. And then I come in to get some welding done. Where's my other phone? Shit, it's on charge. Almost left my phone, yo. Crazy, right? Why is my screen that way? What's going on? So the location I had my phone recording, sparks were actually hitting the screen. I mean, luckily I have a screen protector, but it's actually like sandpaper right now with all the sparks embezzled in it. All right, got it. Time is it now? 11:47. I should be home by 12. Shower, get something to eat, and then head to bed. I have to be up at 5:30. I might go to the gym, might not. Might stay in bed until 7. Get to work at 8. Hold on, wait a minute. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for the support. All right, something is up with that screen. Yeah, stop streaming. All right, cool.